Welcome back to What Arty Noobs with General Disturbance. This is a Conqueror Gun Carriage. It's a tier 10 British SPG. It's located on the south spawn of Siegfried line, and this one is under the command of Photobomber of FUN2. Now this is a fake tank without any doubt. No, they never made an SPG from the Conqueror hull, but it is one of the biggest guns in the game. One of the biggest guns. Alongside it is the biggest Arty in the game. That's the 240mm T92's gone off to a new firing position. But this one is 233.7mm in caliber. And without doubt, it gets the name of the orbital laser cannon simply because it can land a shell that will do immense damage to the enemies. You can see here 1,000 hit points of damage, 59mm of pin. That's on roof armor. Rounds out, gets a hit with his first shot. 572 hit points of a T110E5. Yes, so it's got a blast radius of 11.6 meters. That's huge. And a stun duration of between 13 and 33 seconds. That's a massive amount of time. So it's very, very deadly, but it also does have a very long reload time. 44.1 according to the books, and he's got 35.02. It's loaded. Rounds out. Even a splash right in front of the 60 TP still ended up taking 421 hit points off the guy. Now, most other Arty, 421 would be a direct hit, but yeah, this one will splash and will damage. Now, it does have a slightly shorter range than most of the other Artys because, of course, the shell has got a much higher trajectory. It's going almost straight up and straight down again. Rounds out. This time it's a little bit further away, but he's still got 244. And the Object 261 on the enemy team located his position, and because he didn't relocate, he's just got hit. It's nearly always a wise decision to actually change your position after every shot at the higher tiers. You've got plenty of time whilst you're reloading to do that, so it's worth your while just moving a few meters, even if it's just forwards or backwards, but obviously not preferable to do that, because if the enemy is trying to work out your position from the way the shell goes forward or comes back, then they might actually... Oh, that was a direct hit. And he damaged two tanks there. He got the 260 and he hit the 60 TP for 372. So, in fact, both tanks were badly damaged. He's got stun assist and track damage as well. Yes, so it's much more preferable that you just drive forward and to the right, or drive forward and to the left, and then turn and face the enemy, because that way you're going to be moving away from the firing position each time, but putting a sideways element into the movement. You want to move laterally because the enemy is going to be working out based on your smoke, not just the where you hit. They're going to be watching for the tracer, and if they see the tracer coming from a specific point, they're going to try and fire. There you go. You can't fire at the batch at 155-58. You don't have enough range. Yes, one of the drawbacks of the Conqueror Gun Carriage, limited range. If you want to get that target, he's going to have to move forward to get a shot. In fact, he's given up the chance of getting it because instead he's gone for the E5, and he's picked up another 366 hit points. Now, he should be moving right now, but I think he's sending a message. Okay, he's on the move. I know in some games I've ended up starting at one position and I've gradually moved sideways through the map, so it ended up at a completely different position at the end of the game. I was way over the other side of the map by the end of the game. It's just standard procedure to avoid being hit by the enemy. The enemy RT can't get a shot on you if they don't know where you are. Okay, trying to get shots on this Object 430U, tier 10 Soviet medium. Close. That was close. Okay, get a move on. You should move ideally immediately after you shoot. But I know some people say, oh, well, that's why I don't watch what happens to the shell. But it is essential to see what happens to the shell, just to see if you need to correct your next shot to take into account either a change in trajectory due to using a different shell type or some obstruction in the ground that's blocking your shot. But you can move within a couple of seconds after you've watched the shell impact, and that way you should avoid any counter battery. Okay, going back to that Object 430U, who's about to be mugged by 3 of our guys. I think he just wants to soften him up before. 430 is very keen to get at them. Rounds out. Looks good. Well, he does get some damage and he gets some stun. Now the guys should go in. In fact, they're doing it. They're moving in, which means we might get some stun assist off this. Yes, massive. Look at that. 814 from the Foch 155. And the others are piling on in and the guy's gone. And that's how Arty helps the tanks to kill opponents who have problems for them. Okay, Gorilla 15, tank destroyer that can't shoot behind himself, but has a powerful 15cm gun, no armor, and yep, 373 hit points lost. We're 3 up on the enemy at the moment. We have the town area, really. That's ours. The enemy is being pushed out into the field. And they just lost another one. They lost their E5. Now, we should have changed position, but we haven't, so he's going to do that now. I kind of get the feeling that the enemy Arty is way too busy trying to get shots on our tanks, and that's why they haven't been paying attention to us at the moment. Okay. Got an AMX-13-105 out in the field who's getting further south, but there's a few enemy tanks, or a few of our tanks, between him and us. In fact, the T-92 is actually in danger now. And that 13-105. Let's hope the Leopard 1 is on the ball. Okay, just saw the enemy T-50-51 go down. But that AMX-13-105 is still there, so he needs to move and put some distance between him and that guy, because he's fast and he could get very close to us very quickly if he was to break through past that Leopard. Now, I've lost sight of that 13-105, but the 2685 is coming back. Obviously, he knows that... Oh, the AMX-13-105 went to the north, and we can now see that he's gone all the way up there, and that's why the Leopard 1 didn't see him. He's trying to help his teammates. There's only 5 of them left. It looks like they're all compressed into that corner. Both Arties are there, so we need to get a move on to get closer. Okay, it's ready to go. Is he within range? Well, there's the Gorilla 15. Yes, he can shoot the guy. He's... Oh, well, and there's the enemy Arty. We just saw the tracer. He's just in that bush there, in that tree that he kicked down. Rounds out. Yep, he's been revealed. And the shell comes in. In fact, I think that shell stunned all 3 of them. And in fact, I think he hit the 261, which means that the 261 got some payback for that earlier shot that hit us. I'm not sure we're going to get another chance to shoot, because these guys look like they're going to go down to our tanks. But Within a few seconds, it's a long-range shot. 4 seconds flight time for the shell. Here the shell goes. Direct hit. And he did kill the 261. And the game is over. And it's a victory. Here's the end of battle stats, and that was an ace tanker game from Photobomber of FUN2 in the Conqueror Gun Carriage. He managed to get a Bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. In fact, he got 9. And he got a Confederate medal as well for hitting more of the enemy than anyone else on his team. At least 6 tanks subsequently taken out by other teammates. His win rate from the game was 3,693, which is super Unicum standard. The only tank he killed was the only one who actually did damage to him, and that was the Object 261 right at the end of the game. He managed to finish him off, but he actually hit the enemy Wizzy 113, and it was the splash of that shot that actually damaged the 261 and killed him. Let's have a look at team score. Okay, well, he didn't get the highest damage. That went to the Minotaur on their team, who managed 4,701 hit points, but it wasn't 20%, so he didn't get the high caliber. Second highest damage did go to Photobomber with 3,800, and he picked up, of course, the Confederate. And the third highest damage, well, that went to the Gorilla 15 on the enemy team with 3,096. When it came to kills, it was between the IS-4 and the Object 907. They both got 3 kills each. 2 kills went to the TVPT 5051 on our own team, and to the Gorilla 15 and AMX 13105 on the enemy team. And in third place, or joint third place, we could say Photobomber, along with everyone else who actually managed to get a kill. When it came to base XP, though, he's top of the table. 961. 948 went to the Minotauro, and 942 went to the IS-4. He fired only 10 rounds in the game, but he got 4 direct hits, and none of them penetrated, which is surprising because it does have high penetration. 16 splash, damage of 3,800, all of it at more than 300 meters. He did receive a hit by way of splash. The shell actually impacted in front of him, but it certainly did a fair amount of damage. It was a 261 shell. 7 enemy vehicles were damaged. 1 was killed, so there's the 6 for the Confederate. 419 hit points of damage assist. That's where he damaged the tracks of the enemy. And 3,248 hit points of stun assist of 14 stuns, and that was the ace tanker. On a premium count, he actually earned 79,683 credits from that game, and he got 7 bonds because it was tier 10. And 2,883 experience points altogether. So, yes, Arty using the W key. Well, Arties that do move about are actually more likely to survive, because counter battery is just completely useless if somebody is moving about enough to prevent the enemy Arty from tying you down. That 261 did work out where he was, because he fired too many shells from the same spot. And the 261 worked out, yeah, he's got to be on that spot. It's surprising he didn't actually take out the Team 92 as well, but luckily for him, he did move about a bit as well, so he avoided it. But yes, just goes to show, if you do move about after you fire, wait to see the shell land, then move, and if you do, it's more than likely the enemy RT is not going to get a chance to take you out. If you are scared about counter battery, because certain servers, like the NA server, are very hot on counter battery, then I implore you, do move immediately you fire, but keep watching to see what happens to the shell. You can use your W and your D key or A key to move and change position without actually giving up or stopping looking at the shell to see what happens to it. But it's so important to learn what happens to that shell, because you might hit something you can't see, and if you do hit something you can't see, you might have another go at hitting whatever that blind object is and taking it out. So that's the end of that battle, but we do have another Conqueror Gun Carriage battle for you, because somebody else sent one in as well. So let's have a look at the second replay. And the second replay is on the south spawn of Ghost Town, and this time round it's a fingernail clipping who's in command. Well, fingernail clipping hasn't been going around the other artists. He does have them, but he's been spending most of his time enjoying the FV304 and a few other artists, but now he's decided to have a go at the CGC, or Orbital Laser Cannon, or Death Star, whichever one you actually want to call it. In fact, actually, I think some people don't call it the Death Star because, of course, there is another tank in the game that is the Death Star, the FV215B-183, which is a tank destroyer. But Orbital Laser Cannon is just as good. The Conqueror Gun Carriage is a beast when it comes to damage, but of course it's a completely fake Arty, as I mentioned in the previous video, or previous replay. Now he's looking in the bushes, fairly close by, because he's expecting an enemy tank to be in there. None of our team have gone in, and that might mean that the enemy tank, the enemy light tank, has actually decided to go way close to our teammates. They'll probably know if they've been spotted. Well, we've gone for the tanks at the other end of the corridor instead. Now, backing up here might actually get us spotted if the enemy is fairly close. There is a light tank on our team. We've got an EBR 105. He could have gone off and done a bit of scouting, but in fact he's gone to the west side of the map where the mediums should be. I found two medium tanks, the TVP T5051 is up there as well. Okay, we're loaded, going for the 705. And he's decided to try and get the Type 5 Heavy again. Rounds out. Well, that shell landed near him, but we've no idea if it did any damage. The enemy has been spotted on the east side of the map, and Fingernail Clippings decided that he probably needs to get away from whoever that is. It is a tank destroyer. Now, looking at the map, they do have Gorilla 15s, so it could be one of them. Okay, we've got a clear shot at the 705 now. Rounds out. 539 from that one. He decided to switch shells, went to the extra HE to get a bit more damage, because of course the 705 does have a lot of armor. The other RT on our team in this one is a Batchat 155-58. Now he's moving about quite nicely. You can see down in that little dip on the right side of us at the moment. Okay, we're loaded again. Rounds out. Direct hit this time and 620 hit points. But he switched back to the HE with stun. Looks like the Type 5 went up that path above the sand. He's driven down next to the houses. 705 just blasted. Send one back at him. Oh no, he's decided to switch again, and he's going to the extra HE again, the non-stun variety. You can see where the other shells landed. Rounds out. Another direct hit. 492. He's not getting as many shells out, unfortunately. I think that's mainly down to the fact that he is switching between different types of shell. He's only got one of these extra HE left, so obviously from there on in, he is going to be firing standard HE. Gorilla 15. Who stops suddenly because he thinks he's safe. Put a round in there. Rounds out. Here we go. This should kill him. Oh! RNG was very cruel to him there, because that shell fell well short of the target. If it had actually landed on the aim point, I'm pretty certain that Gorilla 15 would not be in the game anymore. Okay, almost ready to go. Rounds out straight away. And it tracks the 705. It looks like our guys are pushing the enemy into the east side of the map en masse. I mean, everybody seems to be pushing along that side. There's no enemy left on the west. Oh! The Type 5 just fell off his perch. And he's just been stunned, I think. Was that stun? I think that was a shot that came in from the Arty, and that one definitely stunned him. Oh, and we got some stun assist. The enemy is genuinely under pressure here. Standard reloaders say 44.1. We can see that fingernail clipping's got 34.83. He has managed to get 2,120 of actual damage, but he hasn't got a lot of stun assist. So I have a feeling that he probably won't be getting an ace tanker unless he can buck that stun assist up. But there's only 6 enemies left. Now, the Gorilla 15 is somewhere in there, but we don't know precisely where. Just having a quick look round, pressing down the right-hand mouse button so he can view elsewhere without changing his aim. Enemy Arty's been spotted and killed in the north. This game's going to be over very shortly. So he needs to get a shell out so he can get another one out. Otherwise, he's going to be short on credits. Only 4 left. Our EPR's going in for a quick look. And yes, we were aiming in the right direction. Yes, they are panicking. Unfortunately, these guys are getting rid of their stun very quickly to keep in the game, and so we're missing out on stun assist on this one. Our EBR has actually done a good job because he's found a lot of the enemy, but their EBR has done terrible really by comparison. Okay, there's the Gorilla. He pulls back, rounds out, and oh, went long. He's not getting good RNG off this game. And the Gorilla goes down, which means now the last 2 enemy, one of them just died. The EBR got a kill on the EBR. And that EBR dies as well to the Gorilla 15. And the last enemy is gone. The Gorilla 15 gets taken out by the Batch at 155.58. Here's the end of battle stats, and that was only a first-class tanker for a fingernail clipping in the Conqueror Gun Carriage. He normally would have done a lot better, but the problem was his teammates weren't actually getting enough spotting done. Even the EBR, who was running around, wasn't finding as many of the enemy, and so we were spending a lot of time idle, waiting for somebody to spot them so we could get a shell off. In actual fact, he managed to get a first-class tanker and a bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. In fact, he got 9, and his win rate in the game was very good, which was 2,171. But sadly, yes, he could have got more damage, but it's all down to spotting in the end. I think he also had some bad RNG. One where a Gorilla 15 should have died because the shell should have landed right on top of him, but it fell short, and another one where he fired and it went long and was nowhere near the target. So let's have a look at team score. Well, we can see the highest damage in this game actually went to the Striv 103B on the enemy team. 5,383 hit points to him, but he didn't get 20%, so he didn't get the high caliber. Second highest damage was also on their team, the Gorilla 15. Now, I wonder if that was a Gorilla 15 or one of them that he did aim at, but he didn't get a hit that maybe he could have stopped that guy a little sooner, and that would have prevented some damage on his team. He got 4,871. Third highest damage was the Leopard one on our team, who got a Confederate and 4,429 hit points. We can see here that Fingernail Clipping got 2,838, so a bit mid-table. And the EBR managed to get a patrol duty, and so did the EBR on the enemy team as well. When it came to kills, it was the EBR. Did 4 kills in the game, including his opposite number. 3 kills went to the Batchat 155-58, so he was getting some good luck. And 2 kills went to the Heshbarn on our own team, the FB4005, and the Gorilla 15 on the enemy team. And unfortunately, Fingernail Clipping didn't get a single kill in the game. But when it came to base XP, he's in second place because the high scorer was the EBR, who was doing spotting. He did get 1,211 base. He was the only one to get over 1,000 base in the game. And Fingernail Clipping got 828 as the best of the rest, with the Leopard 1 getting 825 just behind him. He only fired 10 rounds, but then in the previous game, there was only 10 rounds fired, but there was a bit more damage. I think, as I said, that was down to the fact there was long periods of inactivity where Fingernail Clipping couldn't get a shot off because he didn't know where to put it. And that's down to the spotting. 2 direct hits on the enemy, no penetrations, 11 splash, damage of 2,838, all of it at more than 300. Damage 4 of the enemy, didn't get any kills, but he got 1,496 hit points of stun assist off 7 stuns. So I guess that's where he got the first class. But he really did need more stun assist, and a lot of those enemy tanks were getting rid of their stun as quickly as they could to avoid taking any damage directly afterwards, and of course affecting their reload. On a free-to-play account, he actually made a profit of 8,722 credits, and that's pretty good. And I get the feeling that Fingernail Clipping is buying his consumables when they're cheap and when they're half price, because it's got 0 costs there. That's what I do as well. It does bump up your scores during the rest of the games that you play afterwards. It means you have to spend a lot of credits all at once to get a big bargain, but the fact of the matter is it does produce better results overall. 7 bonds, because of course it was tier 10, and 828 base XP. But as I said, he was handicapped by the fact that he wasn't given enough targets to get a game at, and it was rather unfortunate overall. So there you go, 2 games in the CGC. We don't often see games in the CGC, mainly because obviously when you get to tier 10, a lot of players like the 261, or they play other arties such as the Batchat 155-58. But yes, it's nice to see the Conqueror Gun Carriage getting some love because it is a big booming gun. Hope you enjoyed those 2 replays. If you did, please give this video a like. Do subscribe to our channel. Leave a little comment down below because it feeds the algorithm. And thank you for watching.